They flagged down this motorcycle rider, substandard helmet on the back, that's 3,000 pesos. Slippers, that's 500 pesos. Shorts is not considered to be a violation, it's just not recommended for your own safety. When the enforcer was checking the license, he realized it's actually the birthday of the driver.
Isok mo yan kasi hindi pa pwedeng di mo isusok. Hindi may pangsimba na siya ngayong araw na to. Ano na yun? Biruin mo siya may birthday, ikaw nagkaroon ng bagong helmet.
Yan, suot mo. Yan. Uy! Hey!
Happy birthday sa'yo! Happy birthday sa'yo! Happy birthday!
Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road. Right now they're clearing the road in front of these two universities, but this is a paid parking area approved by the LGU. So those vehicles that paid the parking attendant will not be penalized by MMDA. And it's not just private vehicles, there's even jeepneys parked here. This van over here has been ticketed for illegal parking because they don't appear to have a ticket from the parking attendant. And actually you'll see that van is now being picked up by the tow truck and it's going to be taken to Tamana in Marikina City. And just across from that white one, they're picking up another car. Allegedly they haven't paid the parking attendant, so it's considered to be illegally parked. They just stopped this motorcycle rider because he's not wearing a helmet. And then he has the classic mask over his license plate. That's a SLP, and Manila seems to avoid non-contact apprehension. I have not seen any drivers appear yet, so I don't know if these might get towed away. I'm a little bit confused because someone said these jeepneys are parked here because they were involved in an accident. But one of the drivers has arrived now, and it seems like they're allowed to park here without paying for parking.
Ma'am, sabi nyo meron ticket. Yun yung puti. Sabi nyo po kanina, ma'am.
Sa kanya po kanina, sir.
Wala po, ma'am. Pumunta po ako. Wala po, ma'am.
Nakaano po.
Nasa tama lang po ko. Tinanong ko po siya, wala siyang pay parking ticket. Ngayon, i-issuean nyo siya. Mali na po yan. Ma'am, nakaticket mo na yan.
I'm not sure if I captured enough video to really explain what happened with this vehicle. So let me tell you, based on what the enforcer told me. He said that he asked the parking attendant if this vehicle was paid for parking, and she said yes. Then he asked the driver, can I see the ticket? Because there's nothing displayed in the windscreen. And he said that he doesn't have a ticket. So that's the time that the enforcer wrote out a penalty for illegal parking. After that, a different parking attendant went to the car and started writing out a ticket saying he'd paid for parking, which would have caused a big conflict. Because later they could contest the violation with MMDA and say, look, I did pay the parking attendant. And you'll see the enforcers now writing out tickets to vehicles parked on the sidewalk, in the road. Actually, this one doesn't have a license plate, so they'll have to put the engine number on the ticket, and then most likely it will get towed away. It looks like a driver came out for this one now. Actually, it looks like they have space to just put it inside. So maybe after taking the ticket, they can put it inside and then they won't have any problems in the future. And right now they're talking about the jeepneys that are parked on Tayuman Street that they encountered yesterday. Upon further coordination, they were told it's not a mower, but it's a permit. It's a 1-year permit that allows 8 jeepneys to stay there on Tayuman Street. No driver came out for this one, so it is indeed going on the tow truck. There's also 2 more tricycles that they considered to be illegally parked on the sidewalk. I think both of these do have plates, so they were able to write the ticket out to the plate. But since there's no driver, still going on the tow truck. And here goes the second one now, also being loaded onto the tow truck. If there was a driver, they could take a ticket and just drive away. And right now the team are writing out a ticket to this one. SUV parked on a corner, obviously not allowed to park on a corner, makes it very difficult for vehicles to turn. The sidewalk clearing team are also asking people to remove their obstructions, but the moment they leave, I'm not sure if the barangay will maintain it. And the team are also removing this tent that was in the road. Usually those get claimed back later. The MMDA are now speaking to the owners of these trucks. They said we're allowed to park here because we have a permit from the city. It's 2,000 pesos per month per truck. But the MMDA is saying even if you have a permit, you're not allowed to park on a corner or the sidewalk. I guess the owner must have come out for this one because the window's open. Probably just arrived too late. Trying to flag down that rider. Female passenger, no helmet, small child on the front. They're asking the driver for the license now. If they actually put the correct violation on the ticket, the Children's Safety on Motorcycle Act of 2015, the penalty would be very, very expensive. Most enforcers don't like to give the expensive tickets because they feel bad for the rider. Again, over here, you see a sidewalk. Obviously, someone put a lot of effort into making this sidewalk look nice, but then it just became a parking area. And because the road is under construction, it makes things even worse because where are pedestrians meant to go? In the middle of the road? And if you see those ambulances over there, according to the locals, they're considered as stalled vehicles not operating. But apparently they've been there for a long time, so I don't know. As much as possible, they don't want to impound emergency vehicles. But frequently they come across emergency vehicles that are not working anymore, but they're obstructing the road or sidewalk. The strange thing about this black SUV parked on the sidewalk is that they actually have a garage and there is space inside for the vehicle. The only thing I can think is that maybe people block their gate and they can't get their vehicle out. Maybe that's why they're parked on the sidewalk instead of inside their garage. According to the tow truck operators, they couldn't lift these ambulances even if they wanted to because they're too heavy. So the head of Western for MMDA is going to coordinate with the owners and ask them to remove it. Obviously, if there was a driver with the key, they could put a bar and then pull it behind. But since there's no driver, they would have to lift it, and they said it's just too heavy. The team are now in front of a preschool, and they're looking to move this vehicle obstructing the sidewalk. Any parents that are walking their children to school would be forced to go in the road. And I did see an old lady with a child in the road around 5 minutes ago. Thankfully, the driver came out now. Not that lady walking in the road. The driver's already inside the vehicle. So they're just asking for the license so they can issue a ticket for parking on the sidewalk. There you go, no complaint. The team are now looking at this vehicle. Not only is it parked on a corner, but it's obstructing a PWD ramp. And just nearby is actually a paid parking lot. This is the empty lot that was converted to paid parking. The gentleman here said 4 or 5 per month. And my guess is you could probably negotiate that down because usually parking in an empty lot is 3,000 to 3,500 per month. But then how can you compete with the city when the parking attendants charge only 50 pesos per day or 1,500 per month? That's why no one will invest in parking infrastructures and parking lots because you cannot compete with the city. The road was sold for such a low price.